D'ART Shtajio vlog, episode 31. 31, yes. I'm Henry Thurlow.
Arthell, Isom.
All right, so we were thinking about more topics. This one might be a short one, but might be interesting for some fans. The question was, let's say someone moves out to Japan and starts working for us, right? There's probably a lot of fans out there that's like, I want to work for D'ART one day. In all the comments on our vlogs, there's always people saying, one day I'm going to work with you guys. So, okay, hypothetically, they move out to Japan, they have the correct visa, they have a good portfolio, and we decide to hire them. So they start coming in. What does their day look like? What does an actual day of working at D'ART look like? I guess it would depend on a position, but just say they're an artist. They're either an in-between artist because they're new, or they're a newbie background artist. One of the artists.
Okay. So because it would be like Henry said, it would be different depending on your position. Because this is a good topic because I was reading a few comments in this other Facebook page, and people were saying, well, there's a studio out in Japan you can go work for, and yeah, we're here. And then some people were just like, oh, but that's only in Japan, it's not realistic, how am I gonna get out there? But let's just say you figured it out, right? You got your plane tickets, you got, you're able to find a really cheap place, which I would advise.
Yeah. Like
find a super cheap place, which depending, there's ways that we can recommend. So we would recommend, I'm forgetting English. What is it? What's the place like the Hudoya-san in English? A real estate, right? So we would recommend a real estate that's good for helping foreigners, right? And then so you get all that situated, right? And then so you're here first day. Depending on what you do, at least for background artists. So actually, but it doesn't really matter who it is. Like, so depending on it doesn't matter what your position is, it'll all still be the same. Mm-hmm. Like your first day, but yeah, you would be introduced to everyone, of course. You would sit down, you fill out your contract, and blah, blah, blah.
Forget the actual literal first day of that stuff and the introductions and then the shaking the hands and then everyone leaving a little early because a new person came in, get some drinks. Forget, they come in the second day. They're working. First day they work. What's a work day?
You gotta get specific, man. Okay, second day. So second day, you would be training because you wouldn't be working. And so, most people, it doesn't even matter how great your portfolio is. We have a process here for Japanese anime. And so you would essentially just start training. And then depending on what your position is, that would then determine what your training would look like. And so, for background painters, it's usually, we have a little bit of a process. And so probably, painting skies and things like that, because it would depend on your portfolio, but whatever your portfolio is would then determine what your first day would be painting.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be working.
You're answering very, very literally and less hypothetically, because I was thinking about just talking about a hypothetical work day, but yes, that's okay. That's an okay direction. And then with animation, for sure, before we pass to legitimate actual work, there would need to be a few days, if not weeks, or months even potentially, of just making sure, that now that stuff's done digitally, I don't think some of the training that I had to do applies anymore, like just continuously drawing lines on a paper until you can get perfectly printer ready.
Harmony, so you essentially have to be trained in harmony.
Right. Oh, right. But so while you might not have to learn how to make perfect lines like that on paper anymore, like I had to do for a few weeks when I started, that would be replaced with, you got to learn the harmony software that we use, potentially other softwares too, Photoshop or something, if you were a background artist or whatever. But then so and at the beginning, I guess it would be probably as it is with all of us with the training, more frustrating in the sense that you're not working on real stuff, right? And you just have to do these monotonous kind of hard training things. But also better in the sense that once you've done your hours, you can leave realistically under more normal schedule, because training, you can just make sure that you've trained properly for that set of time. And then that would repeat until you're eventually good enough, right? And then then you come in and it's your first day of legit actual work, or I guess usually, to be honest, it's even eased in a little bit, like some easier stuff at the beginning. But in general, once you really start working, that's when it changes a little bit, right? So, but also, by the way, just to get the whole scope of the full day, so you leave, like, what time must you be here and what time must you leave, Arthell?
So that's the one thing that we're kind of, flexible on, right?
Super flexible.
Yeah, like there's no set time to leave or arrive. Everyone leaves and arrives when they feel like coming.
Now, if someone is hired 4 years from now and we have totally different set of rules, don't refer back to this video and say, hold on, you said right here. Yeah, but that was 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
So I don't know what the future will be. It could potentially change, like everyone should be here by 11 a.m. or something. But as it stands now.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. You don't have to.
But that's the case with really every single studio. So we really are, we mention it again and again. We're a Japanese anime studio. Like we're obviously foreigners and have a different mindset to a certain extent. But we both trained and worked in this industry for a long time. So the way that we go about it is the Japanese anime industry way, which is, once you start really working, you come in and you get your work, right? Yeah. So then let's say your training is done, and so now you're really, really working, right? Okay, so now you come in. There would be a thing called an uchiawase, which is like a production meeting, and it would probably be one-on-one. Who you would get that by depends on what your position is. If you're doing keyframe animation, you would directly talk to the directors of the episode and things like that. But if you were an in-between animator starting out, it might be someone else, the room head or something that passes you the work, but you'd still have that little meeting and be like, okay, here's your set of cuts, this is what's necessary, this is what's not necessary, and this is the due date. Also, things to keep in mind, if there's some little mentions that might not be super obvious just by looking at the paper or the file in the case of digital, and then it would be passed to you. And then you would have to make sure that you actually finish that and keep people posted on your progress by the due date that was given. So at the very beginning, it would probably be simpler things, right? Where you wouldn't be given the big, huge, important...
painting, it'd be like just a wall or something like that.
If it was in between animation, it would be a still frame sequence where just the character is talking and blinks. So there would be some animation in it, but you're not responsible for anything major yet. So in that case, though, you wouldn't be handed sequences and you have 3 days to hand this in. This would be, you only have the face and the blinking, so you have to finish 3 of those sequences in one day. And they have to be totally cleaned up, and everything needs to be done totally correctly and filled out right and exported correctly if it's computer, right? And then it would be up to you to make sure that that is done. Now, when you are training, you could leave at 6 p.m., right? But whether you are leaving at 6 p.m. today depends on, did you finish those 3 cuts? I passed those to you at whenever you showed up. So if you showed up at 2 p.m., but I wanted to leave at 6 p.m., then why'd you show up at 2 p.m.? Right now, you can't leave at 6 p.m. Now you might not be able to leave by midnight. I don't know. You showed up at 2 p.m. That was your choice. Right? But let's say you get in early. You came in at 9 a.m. or whatever, 10 a.m., and immediately got the meeting. Well, now, if you're done by 5 p.m., you could leave even earlier than you left with the training. If you're done by around 6 p.m., that's when you leave. 7, it took a little bit longer, but you got done, right? But if you're super slow and realizing this is hard and it takes you until 11 p.m. to get done with that, well, then in the Japanese anime industry, look, you had to hand in 3 cuts today. And that's what it is.
Then you got Tetsuya.
Tetsuya means all-nighter in Japan. In Japan, interesting note, as a New Yorker, I didn't know this, and this is a big shock to me and even angers me now. in New York, trains run 24/7.
Oh yeah.
I can leave anywhere. Like, it never even occurred to me that isn't how it is everywhere else.
Yeah.
To me, I'd be out with friends at a bar or whatever, and it's like, it's 2:30 a.m. I'm gonna go home now, right?
Yeah.
Similarly at work, one day, oh man, I can't believe we worked until 12:30 tonight.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm leaving now, and it doesn't occur to you that that's not something you could be able to do, because of course you can.
Yeah.
But in Japan, the trains stop around midnight. It changes. Some of them is 12:30. Maybe if you're on like the latest train, you might get like a close to 1 p.m. thing or 1 a.m. thing. But yeah, around midnight-ish, right? So if midnight is closing in and you still haven't handed in. Now, if you're a newbie with those 3 cuts, I don't think we're going to be so crazy and harsh and cruel. But
if you're like new and you have these 3 cuts, and like, it might take an extra day or 2. Which is fine.
If you're a newbie, but keep in mind, as you start getting those more difficult cuts, and therefore also getting more with more responsibility comes with more.
More power comes.
Oh, great!
That's
great
Spider-Man.
Power. Great power.
That's not what I was saying. With well,
more responsibility equals more power. I don't know.
now I'm blanking, but
Absolute power.
Absolute power equals
equals more Nigenga cuts.
I thought it was whatever.
Corrupts absolutely.
Now we're just saying totally unrelated quotes.
No,
but so in the future it might be like, this is due by Friday and you have this set, but now you can do in your what we're saying in one day, but just space it out over the course of a week. And if that means you want to take off Tuesday or something because you really need to, but don't worry, because that Friday deadline's still going to happen. You're going to pull an all-night or Thursday night. You already have all this stuff planned out. That's your schedule, right? But on Friday we need those things done. So keep in mind, in the future, but then when you are at that level, then you also really have to hand it on Friday. You're brand new newbie, first day kind of thing. If it's getting close to midnight, you don't have to pull the all nighter. We're not cruel, but just keep in mind now your speed and recognize that is going to be an issue in the future.
Exactly.
And why are you super tired right now? Everyone's seeing
Arthell
dozing off here. That's because Arthell's schedule isn't anything like we talked about, and he's just here all the time.
I'm always here all day, especially when we have crazy deadlines. So our schedule is a little bit different.
Yeah, well, Arthell and my schedule is weird. I don't stay here as nonstop 24/7 as him, but hours, and to be honest though, not even hours, I would say. Well, one thing I would say actually about D'ART in particular, because we are talking about kind of D'ART specifically at the moment. The bigger studios have a more very set kind of schedule because they're working on these big productions over the course of years, right? So it's a what is it, like a train? Like it's like it goes to this person, goes to this person, goes to this person, right? Since we are still smaller and the projects are not multi-year giant projects yet, maybe again in 4 years that'll be different. But the schedules are constantly coming up to deadlines of shorts and constantly being altered. The start date of this commercial is Friday. All of a sudden it's not Friday, it's next Tuesday, right? And so because of that, to be honest, at D'ART in particular right now, it would be less of a constant flow of that. What we laid out so far is still pretty much how it works, but there would also be sudden start and stops, and recognizing that you should always be checking your phone for updates, right? We're all connected on Google Hangouts, and so suddenly actually no one worry about handing in that stuff on Thursday this week like planned. That message might come and you might say, oh cool, but that means probably next week 2 days are going to be massively difficult, right? So but keep it so I think to the extent we really are trying to make it not harsh and cruel on people like the stereotype of what this industry is. We try to keep it cool. At the same time, I just explained to you, schedule stop and start, and all of a sudden there's deadlines. And yes, if suddenly that, hey guys, actually this time isn't a positive message, it's a negative one, everything needs to be done on Wednesday and not Friday, then, you know, you're a member of the studio too, right? You want the studio to succeed, you want the team to succeed, right? We're a small team at the moment. We're all nakama, right? We're all nakama in Japanese, right? And then for the One Piece fans, they know that nakama is constantly used. The crew is nakama. You're part of the crew. So, you know, you want to also still make sure that that gets done on Wednesday now. So that means everyone's working real hard for a few days, maybe comes in on that Sunday, you know. But that's kind of the attitude we would hope, right? I don't think we're cruel about enforcement like some other studios might be, but like, you know, I would love it if the attitude of you, especially as a newbie, was, no, we're going to get done with that on Wednesday. I'm really happy to be a part of your team. Don't worry, we're going to make this happen, even if it's going to be tough for a few days. And that's what we would hope for of you, and that's what your general week and day kind of would look like, I think.
All right, sounds good.
Get some sleep, bud. Get some sleep.
That's a long explanation to say you have a short, you know, you can choose your time, you can go in and out. But yeah, that generally is just a day here. So now I'm gonna get back to work.
Get back to work. You need to sleep.
It's Friday here. That's right. So yeah, so we can kind of
chill a little bit.
Not really.
All right, guys. Until next time, if you have any topics you want us to talk about in next week's episode, let us know. We'll be sure to read the comments. Shtajio. See you.